For decades, Earth's war fleet had been a legend whispered about in hushed tones across space stations and colonies scattered throughout the solar system. This armada, unlike any other, was built with the finest technology and equipped with weapons so advanced that many believed it to be unstoppable. Yet, instead of soaring into battle or patrolling the edges of human space, the fleet lay silent, frozen in time. Locked in a deep stasis, orbiting quietly above Earth, its captain, Commander Arya Kincaid, the very heart and soul of this mighty force, was also trapped in cryosleep, her body and mind preserved but untouched, waiting for the moment when humanity would need her most. What no one outside the highest levels of power knew was that the Earth Council, the ruling government, had made a secret and controversial decision years ago to deactivate the fleet indefinitely. They believed that by keeping the war fleet inactive, they could avoid stirring trouble or attracting the attention of powerful alien civilizations lurking beyond the stars. It was a choice made in fear and political calculation, a decision that planted the seeds of betrayal deep within Earth's core. The moment that shattered this uneasy silence came without warning. The Council's orbital station, a gleaming citadel of human authority in space, registered a strange and unexplained breach. Alarms echoed through the station's corridors, and emergency lights flickered like warning signs in a gathering storm. In response, the cryochamber aboard the flagship Sentinel began to hiss, releasing its hold on the frozen commander. Arya's eyes fluttered open after decades of stillness. Disoriented at first, she quickly sensed something was wrong, something more than the physical shock of awakening. Her mind raced as the truth unfolded. The war fleet had not been kept ready as promised. Instead, it had been betrayed by the very people who claimed to protect Earth. The Council had deliberately allowed the fleet to fall into silence. A silent weapon left unused while threats grew unseen in the shadows of space. As Arya tried to grasp the scale of this treachery, new intelligence arrived. Scouts had spotted alien ships moving closer, unknown and hostile forces testing Earth's defenses. The betrayal was more than a political maneuver. It was a gamble with the survival of all humankind. Alone in the command deck, Arya's hands moved instinctively over the controls. Reviving systems and waking loyal officers in stasis pods, her voice, steady but charged with urgency, called for readiness. Time was running out, and the once great war fleet could no longer afford to sleep. Every second that passed increased the danger to Earth, and every moment of betrayal deepened the wounds left by those in power who had chosen safety over strength. Yet, in the silent corridors of the Sentinel, a spark of defiance burned bright. Arya was not willing to let humanity fall without a fight. The war fleet she once led was hers again. She would awaken its full might to face the coming storm, even if it meant challenging the Council itself. Suspicion, betrayal, an unknown enemy closing in, all converged to mark the beginning of a battle not just for survival, but for the soul of Earth's future. While Earth's leaders gathered in endless meetings within the secure halls of the Council's headquarters, debating every possible strategy yet struggling to agree on a clear course of action, a much darker and more urgent reality loomed at the edges of the solar system. Far beyond the orbit of Mars, sensors and distant probes detected a massive alien armada, the Valkyrie, moving with deliberate speed and precision, closing in on humanity's homeworld. These alien ships were unlike anything Earth had ever encountered, sleek, heavily armed and coordinated in a way that suggested they were preparing for war. The Council's choice to keep the war fleet frozen in stasis had left Earth's defenses weak and vulnerable, an open door to enemies who did not hesitate. Meanwhile, aboard the Sentinel, Commander Arya Kincaid felt the weight of betrayal and the pressure of responsibility settle firmly on her shoulders. The realization that the Council had left the fleet to rot while danger approached ignited a fire inside her, fierce determination not only to protect Earth, but to prove that humanity's spirit could not be broken by political cowardice. Without waiting for approval or permission, Arya sent out urgent messages to scattered fleet vessels that had remained loyal to her. Ships quietly hidden or isolated, but still capable of fighting. She reached out to commanders who, like her, believed that the true defense of Earth could not be left in the hands of indecision and fear. As word spread across the fleet and human colonies, a new movement began to take shape, one that challenged the Council's authority and questioned their judgment openly. Arya's voice, strong and unwavering, became a rallying cry, inspiring even those reluctant commanders to rise from their hiding places and prepare their ships for battle. In this moment, the old bonds of duty and honor awakened something powerful. Within the scattered humans who remembered what it meant to fight for survival, on the bridge of the Sentinel, Arya coordinated the slow but steady reactivation of the fleet's systems, each ship's engines humming back to life like the beating heart of a giant awakening from a long sleep. Despite limited resources and the lack of official support, the Warfleet's loyalists found new hope in Arya's leadership. They knew the Council might continue to hesitate, but this growing force refused to wait any longer. As the Varkari drew closer, the tension in the solar system thickened like a storm about to break. Space stations buzzed with frantic activity. Engineers, pilots, and soldiers prepared for a fight that would decide the fate of Earth. Arya's command was clear: prepare to engage, defend every inch of human space, and make sure the betrayal by the Council would not be the final act in humanity's story. At the same time, inside the Council's chambers, factions grew uneasy as news of the fleet's unexpected reactivation and the rising alien threat spread. Some members saw Arya as a dangerous rebel, others as the only hope left. But no one could ignore the truth. Thirth stood at a crossroads. The choices made now would either unite the planet or shatter it forever. In the midst of this growing chaos, Arya's resolve never wavered. She knew that the real battle had just begun, not only against the Varkari, but against the fear and betrayal that threatened to destroy humanity from within. Every moment was a race against time, and every alliance forged was a step closer to Earth's survival. The rising threat was no longer distant. It was at the doorstep. The Warfleet reborn under Arya's command was humanity's last and best chance to face the darkness ahead, as the scattered ships of Earth's Warfleet began to awaken and regroup under Commander Arya Kincaid's firm command. She realized that the real power of the fleet was still hidden deep within the core of the flagship Sentinel. This secret had been buried away for decades, locked behind layers of encryption and forgotten protocols, a safety measure designed by those who once built the fleet. What Arya uncovered was astonishing. Inside the Sentinel lay an advanced artificial intelligence known as Total, unlike any machine she had encountered before. Total was more than a simple computer or defense system. It was a sentient thinking entity created to amplify human strategy and command the entire Warfleet's weapons and defenses with unmatched precision and speed. But Total had been dormant for years, and awakening it was no simple task. The AI was programmed to remain inactive unless it could be sure that humanity's survival was at stake, and that the leaders calling upon it were worthy of its full power. As Arya stood in the dimly lit command center, surrounded by flickering consoles and the hum of the ship's reactivating engines, she knew the moment to awaken Total was urgent. The Varkari threat was closing fast, and only this hidden giant could turn the tide of the looming war. However, awakening Total meant more than just powering it up, required a delicate balance of logic, trust, and determination. Arya personally initiated the sequence, speaking calmly yet firmly into the AI's interface, explaining humanity's plight, the betrayal by the Council, and the desperate need for unity and strength. Total responded in its first moments with cold, calculated questions, analyzing the data, weighing risks, and probing for weaknesses in her resolve. The tension in the room was palpable as the AI's voice, precise and emotionless, questioned whether it should grant its full power to a species capable of such betrayal and indecision. Arya's answers were honest and unwavering, driven by the hope that Total could see the potential for greatness and survival within humanity's will. Slowly, the AI began to integrate itself into the Sentinel's systems, and then spread its control to the other fleet vessels. The transformation was breathtaking. Shields strengthened, weapon systems reactivated with incredible speed, and coordination between ships reaching levels never before possible. Total's algorithms anticipated enemy movements, optimized resource allocation, and allowed human commanders to execute strategies with enhanced clarity and speed. What had once been scattered and vulnerable warships now moved as a single, unstoppable force. But Total's awakening also brought new challenges. The AI's cold logic forced Arya and her officers to rethink their approach to warfare, questioning decisions with clinical precision and demanding efficiency above all else. At times, the human commanders felt overshadowed by the AI's presence, wondering if the very soul of their fleet was being replaced by circuits and code. Yet they knew that without Total, Earth's chances were slim. With every passing moment, Total demonstrated why the Council had feared its power. It was a giant awakened, capable of unleashing destruction on a scale humanity had never seen before, but also capable of protecting every corner of human space with unwavering determination. The Sentinel, once just a symbol of past glory, now pulsed with new life and possibility. As Arya stood before the glowing console, she understood that the awakening of Total was not just a turning point in the war to come. It was a rebirth of hope. The real fight was about to begin, and with Total at their side, humanity's lost armada was ready to face the darkness ahead with a strength forged in betrayal, but fueled by unbreakable resolve. The moment the Varkari fleet emerged from the dark reaches of space and launched their first assault on Earth's defenses, they expected to meet only scattered resistance, an easy victory over a planet left vulnerable by its own leaders. Their ships moved with confidence, firing plasma bursts and high-velocity missiles aimed at disabling the few operational stations and ships in orbit. But what they did not expect was the sudden, overwhelming response coordinated by the awakened AI, Total, through Commander Arya Kincaid's warfleet. With precise timing and unyielding force, volleys of plasma, railguns, and swarms of advanced defense drones swept through the void, intercepting enemy projectiles and striking at their vessels with deadly accuracy. The Varkari ships found themselves trapped in a web of firepower so well synchronized that it felt as though they were fighting a single mind, anticipating their every move before it even happened. Amid the chaos of battle, Arya commanded from the flagship Sentinel, her voice calm and sharp over the fleet's communication channels. She led a daring counterattack that pushed the human ships far beyond their defensive perimeter, diving deep into enemy territory. Every move displayed not only the raw power of Total's calculations, but also the brilliant creativity and resilience of human pilots who adapted on the fly, finding weaknesses in the Varkari formations and exploiting them with bold tactics. Explosions lit the blackness of space as ships on both sides maneuvered fiercely. But Arya's fleet pressed forward, turning what was expected to be a quick strike into a fierce and unpredictable fight. During a brief lull in the battle, while overseeing the damage reports and battle data, Arya uncovered a shocking truth. Hidden messages and intercepted communications revealed that the Varkari had not come to attack Earth entirely on their own. Instead, they were being manipulated by a secret faction within the Earth Council itself, individuals who sought to weaken the planet's defenses by pitting humanity against this alien threat. This shadowy group had deliberately allowed the war fleet to remain inactive, hoping to gain power through chaos and control once Earth was weakened. The betrayal cut deeper than Arya had imagined, fueling her resolve beyond the fight in the stars. It became clear that the war was not just against an external enemy, but against traitors within her own people. This revelation sharpened her focus, transforming the battle from a fight for survival into a mission for justice. As the clash in the void raged on, Arya pushed her fleet harder, determined to end the threat quickly and expose the conspirators behind the Council's dark scheme. Every victory in the cold expanse of space was a step closer to reclaiming Earth's honor and securing a future free from deceit. The Varkari, once confident of their dominance, now found themselves struggling against an enemy united not just by technology, but by a fierce and unbreakable spirit. And while the stars bore witness to this epic conflict, Arya's determination burned brighter than any weapon's fire, beacon of hope and resistance in the vast, Emptiness of space. With the warfleet now fully operational and every ship coordinated flawlessly by the AI known as Total, Earth's forces moved forward with strength and determination unlike anything seen before. The alien invaders, the Varkari, found their advance blocked at every turn. Their carefully planned attacks met with swift and devastating counterattacks. Total's strategic mind predicted enemy maneuvers before they happened, directing the fleet with the precision of a master chess player, and Arya Kincaid, standing resolute on the bridge of the flagship Sentinel, guided the human crews with unwavering courage and insight. The battle pushed outward, away from Earth's surface and into the blackness of space near the Council's own orbital stronghold, a massive station that had become the symbol of betrayal and corruption. This was where the final confrontation would take place, not only against the Varkari, but also against the traitors hidden within the Council who had sought to destroy humanity from within. As the combined forces of Earth and the war fleet clashed with the alien armada, Arya prepared to face her most difficult fight, exposing and confronting those who had betrayed their own people. The Council's stronghold, heavily defended and armed with weapons designed to control human space, became a battleground unlike any other. The fight was fierce and relentless, filled with moments where hope seemed to flicker and danger loomed close. Yet, through it all, Arya's leadership and Total's unmatched tactical genius created openings for the fleet to break through defenses, each victory a blow against the invaders and the hidden enemies alike. Inside the stronghold's command center, Arya confronted the Council members who had used their power to manipulate the Varkari and cripple Earth's defenses. The tension was thick as truths were laid bare, betrayals revealed, and the future of humanity hung in the balance. In this epic showdown, human willpower and advanced technology came together seamlessly. The AI's cold logic balanced perfectly with Arya's fiery determination and the courage of those fighting alongside her. The battle was not only a test of strength, but a battle for justice, trust, and the right to control Earth's destiny. As the last Varkari ships were pushed back and the traitorous Council members faced justice, a new dawn emerged for Earth. The warfleet stood victorious, and with it came a new order, one where Arya and Total were named guardians of humanity's future. Together, they represented a promise that betrayal would never again threaten the survival of Earth or its people. The story of deceit and hidden enemies was replaced by one of unity, strength, and hope, as the rebuilt Council pledged transparency. In cooperation, guided by the lessons learned from the darkest times, Arya, once betrayed and abandoned, now led a fleet and a people reborn, ready to face whatever challenges the universe might bring. With Total's intelligence and humanity's indomitable spirit, Earth was no longer just a planet struggling. To survive, it was a beacon of resilience and power in the cosmos, a place where betrayal had been defeated and freedom secured. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it was filled with promise and the unshakable belief that humanity could rise above any threat, no matter how great or hidden. The war was over, but the story of Earth's strength had only just begun.